this is our last day of our the health camp today. So we would be focusing more on the different techniques of burning the calories. We talked about the one part of the equation where the equation for metabolism, wherein the energy is it comes inside the body, we consume the energy. So now is about how to spend the energy. So today is but we'll keep our core, the overall, like I would say, the objective as our health benefit only, So, I mean, like on this, if you are seeing the slide, what we'll do is we'll quickly run through some slides where these are things which would be better visually, or when you read on the screen than even I demonstrate. But after that, maybe the remaining part we will demonstrate the various activities that we can do, the breathing techniques that we have been talking about, and all of those. Right. One key aspect on this slide, is the term consistency. If you see on the bottom right corner of the slide, consistency is what is important, and that is what is lacking in most cases. That's where, even when we talked about diet yesterday, we talked about like as soon as I reach a certain level of weight or inches or shape and size, I stop. I stop and I start to believe like everything else is going to be fine from now on, but that's not the case. Be thorough with your, the routine has to be set. You cannot just give it up just like that because you believe that you have achieved your goal and you do not have to do anything about it. But yes, you have to maintain it. You maintain your body structure, shape, size, all of it by means of staying active, by means of consuming food in the right proportion, in the right manner. So if you look at this, these are some of the questions that you can really ask yourself when you are today, when everything is being done from home, everything is remote, everything like you don't have, people aren't going to work, people aren't going for, everything is like being online call. You don't go directly or physically, manually. These terms have lost their charm right now, at least. Hopefully things will change soon. But if you see, if you have the answers to these questions and the answers for these questions are positive, then it's a great thing, right? But then if the answers to some of these are not positive, then there is a problem. There are chances that something will go wrong sometime and your body would show a symptom. It's not necessarily about my vitals going drastically wrong unless you are doing something for a longer duration or like for you would not be ready to make amends or make correctional changes to. So that's a very different situation. But otherwise, if you think, say, let's take, do you get a minimum of 6.5 hours of sleep and a maximum of 8 hours? All right, there is a small thing here. A minimum of 6.5 hours is required at least for your body to recover from all the things it has done throughout the day. You need that amount of rest at a stretch, not two breaking. I mean, in two breaks. Let's say I'm sleeping 4 hours now, and another 2.5 hours during the day. That doesn't work. So 6.5 hours minimum, 8 hours maximum is because, I mean, like anything more than 8 is a luxury. Anything if you have this option of sleeping more than 8 hours in the day, I think like you have nothing else to do. You don't have to worry about anything else. There's too much of luxury that you have earned. I mean, like, and that's not good for the body because your body gets into a state of. So, the last point here is also significant nowadays because like everything is happening online or internet and phone and all. So, and everything has a screen. We talked about radiation a couple of days back. So, you need to be off the screen as well. Staying on the screen, it is another way of just stressing yourselves out. So, net, there are problems that we see coming up. So, there have been researches done throughout the globe and people have come out with a lot of problems or across different categories of people. Everybody like suffering from certain syndromes, everybody certain, or if not everybody, let's say a large group of people would be suffering from similar kind of syndromes or similar kind of body issues. Say, for example, posture problems have become so tremendous right now because of the ease of working from home. So I probably would not be the way I'm sitting right now. Probably I wouldn't be doing it if I have to do it day in and day out. This, curl up my back, or even worse, I would just go over to my sofa, put my legs, uh, stretch my legs out in the front, and like I would be in such an awkward shape, which I feel is very comfortable, but which my body doesn't feel. It knows like it's something's wrong, and it will show up a symptom very soon, wherein like I'll have a niggle or tick on my right back, on my left back, my knees hurt, or my shoulder hurts, my neck pains. Things will show up eventually. So I mean, these are certain problems that we have because we are working from home. Or for just think about those people who are at home. So I mean, like most of the times, whether it's a lockdown or not. So anyway, so all of these bring us to the necessity of knowing how to maintain your body, the necessity of knowing about activity, staying active, doing different types of activity, what matters, which activities are more impactful or effective. We're going to talk about these things today, right? So what usually goes wrong? These are 5 very, very important things. I mean, like there are tons of other things, but these are some key things that really go wrong. Posture, we just talked about it. Stress, yes, we did talk about this as well. Daily timings, goes for a toss. The moment it's a weekend, I would like to sleep more. I have slogged really hard throughout the week, and I go for a toss. I'll wake up at 9 in the morning maybe instead of 5 in the morning. My breakfast, I will have it at 11 or 11:30. I don't know when I'll have lunch, or I club it together. No breakfast, no lunch. I have something known as brunch, and then have dinner. And in between, I'll be snacking. I'll not be feeling good because my timings have gone for a toss. So these things happen, and these things like do not require you to be in a state of quarantine or lockdown. These things happen in our daily lives as well. Food, we have had enough discussion on food yesterday, and daily activities. That's what we are going to talk about today. All of these things make a lot of difference to our lives. They make a lot of difference to how our body reacts, our health reacts to these. These are like, so these are some numbers. These are some key numbers that we really look out for when we are, when we go to a doctor, or when we think that something's wrong, or when we do our annual checks. These are some of those top of the mind numbers which are there. There are like a lot of other things that we need to check, that we need to be aware of about ourselves. But these are, I mean, like, say, for example, like a very good indication is your resting heart rate. But it says a lot about how your body is reacting to the current conditions, at least under the conditions under which you have taken those measurements. The resting heart rate is, you are not active. Let's say you are just sleeping, or you have been on the chair, on the couch, or somewhere, not doing any physical work, except that like you are just breathing. So that gives you a resting heart rate, and like it tells you a lot about your condition, your stable condition of the body. I mean, we are not going into diseases and illnesses right now, but if there are questions, please shoot, and I would try and attempt to answer as much as I can. All right. Again, like we'll not stay on these things so long. Of all of these things, when we are talking about our physical being, the most important organ is the heart. That is what really, like so many times we always say, heart is here. The heart is not on the left side of the body in the first place, right? It's in the center. It's in the center of your chest, right where that center, the sternum, the breastbone is, right beneath that is the heart. So anyway, that's the one organ that really, is the center of everything when we talk about physical activities. It's the heart that like gives you that certain that right condition inside the body to cope up with the activities that you are executing. Say for example, I am going for a run and it's just a jog versus I'm going for a sprint wherein I am going to run very fast. So what happens at the moment I stop? At the moment I stop from a jog, maybe my heart rate would be a little higher than normal. I, but the moment I stop from a sprint, I can literally hear my heartbeat, right? So I mean, like it's moving, it's pumping really fast. Your body's requirement of oxygen, its requirement of strength in different parts of the body is so high because of the kind of activity that I have done. It's like, very quickly in a very short term, I have put my body under such a kind of stress wherein like it needs that amount of energy so fast. So that's why it is very, very important that you have a solid, perfectly good about. We talked about food that can cause, that are good for the heart. We talked about the previous day. We talked about certain issues that really hit our heart or the health of our heart as well as the overall cardiovascular system. So today we talk about what can, some of the signs that you need to think about, really, really think twice, if not twice, just think n number of times before you really, you decide to go ahead. Fatigue, addictions, workload, lack of focus, sitting for a long time, untimely food, traffic. These things are, in a way, I mean, they have multiple impacts all over your life in different ways. But when we are talking about the heart, yes, there are signs or these are the conditions under which you take up stress. When you take up stress, goes through a lot of changes. These are all mental changes. We are going to talk about mental health as well, but that's like it's like heart is called the heart for a reason, right? Like it's what like makes you keeps you going. So all of these things, when these kind of stress comes along, you will sometimes have a state wherein you will be palpitating. Sometimes you will have untimely or unusual sweating. Sometimes you will have a slight rise in temperature or even a more higher rise in temperature. Sometimes you will just be jittery. You will not know what to do because like it's not pumping in the right, pumping blood through your body upwards in the right manner. As a result, you get dizzy. Sometimes it's just choked. Sometimes you feel congested. I mean, all of these are conditions where the heart plays the most important role, and it's the center of, the limelight of the entire show in this case. Some more. Breathing, cholesterol, sugar, stress, anxiety, all of these things are also like, all of them are related to the heart. That's the center point again. What I mean, like, we need to be very, very clear about our heart health because, again, I mean, like, for all the reasons that we already talked about, and at the same time, we need to know, like, because that's how we will be able to go on. If I need to say I am active at level 10, and the maximum is say level 100, to reach there, I need to improvise on my heart health as well. I need to work on my heart health. There are different ways of, the heart itself is a muscle, if you can look at it that way, right? And there are plenty of other muscles all around the heart, wherein like, which also play an important role in the way the heart can contract and expand. So these things would stay healthy. Your blood flow, the blood to the heart or from the heart, they will remain healthy. The other systems all around the heart, which are in direct, like, the first line of contact, say, let's, for example, heart and the lungs, they exchange the gas right there, right? And the good blood comes in, bad blood goes out. Those things happen between these two important organs. I mean, the health of all of these things around the heart also matter. How do you make sure that these things happen? By staying active, by having healthy habits, going to choke you or push you down under a condition where like you cannot be normal. So as a result, like some of the extreme situations, like it's not always, you will have to make too much of error to reach here. Short circuit is it's an actual thing that happens in your heart. Your heart runs, your heart and your brain, both of them run, making electric circuits around them, right? There are electricity that is generated inside in the heart, around the heart, and around in the brain as well. It can go into a state of short circuit. It happens. Heartbreak is not just about a romantic thing. Heartbreak actually happens. It just breaks down. It just decides not to move any further. It happens. This is an actual condition. Heart attack, we know. Stroke is something of the brain, really. But then, like usually, like when some would say a blood vessel into the brain is choked, the brain does not receive enough blood. That means it's not receiving enough oxygen and enough nutrition. And as a result, it decides to give you a sign, which is called a stroke. So, I mean, these are things that can really happen, and they are important parameters of your health. You need to know things perfectly clearly so that we do not make mistakes. All right. Any questions so far? Anyone? Okay. Let's move on. Okay. Stress. One of the. Did someone say something? All right. So stress is one of the biggest, not the biggest topmost, but it is still one of the biggest things or the biggest causes of health hazards around the globe today. Like, you know, be it our country or any country in the world, you say, like it features in the top 5 everywhere, some in one way or another. I mean, like, although we call this stress, we differentiate between stress and anxiety and depression. These are basically various stages of a same problem. You know, when you're stressed about something, you can be stressed about anything really, right? Depending on how you are facing that situation or that condition that you are undergoing. Stress can be taken up by a kid. Stress for a kid would be like, I have my exams coming in. I have not done my homework. Do I have to eat those vegetables as well? That is stress. There is stress. What's happening? What's going around everywhere? Like, you know, people as you grow older, and what you have certain additional problems. Your body, because your body does not react equally. If a 10-year-old and a 30-year-old and a 60-year-old are put in the same line, and they are put under the same conditions of, say, pollution, for example, all of them will start coughing. But who is going to recover fastest? The 10-year-old, followed by the 30, and the last to recover would be the 60-year-old. I mean, it's not about health. It's just that your body does not have enough ammunition available inside itself to fight that condition and to. I mean, you will come out of it strong, but then like it will take a little longer than compared to other ones, younger ones. And that's a fact of life. You have to understand that. So what happens? Stress. When we were working on our program for the lifestyle management, right? So we were taught, the first thing that we were taught is something called the support system. Support system is the people immediately around you. It can are your family members. It can also be your neighbors. It can be your close friends or your colleagues, your peers. It can be anyone. People who have a positive or negative impact on you immediately. Those are your support system. They are all part of the support system. So what happens normally, like I'll give a very nice example. Say you want to take up a diet plan. You think you are overweight, or you are actually overweight, or you have some problem for which you want to take up a diet program. And let's just think about the household. All right, you are not taking a diet plan which might be separate, which might include food items which are separate from what everybody else would want to eat. And that would mean what? That would mean 2 times work. So now the question is, are you going to take it up or not? You need it yourself. But at the same time, you have to be cognizant of the fact that it requires you to, provide or have extra time so that you can cook twice. So that's a simple question, simple dilemma, right? But at that point in time, a family member comes to you saying like, don't worry, you do this, I'll do that. Let's split the work, get things done. Your health is important. It is more important that you become more stable, you become healthy, you get into shape, you get in the normal zone of weight and all these things. That's your support system. That's how it is supposed to work. If it does not happen, even if you're dieting, stress will kill you. So the extra work that you're doing, the extra stress that you are taking up, I have to make don't know if I can continue with the diet program because like I'm not getting enough time or whatever that reason is. That is going to be stressful for you, and that's what is going to make it more disturbing for you. Even if you in the end make it through the diet program, you might be losing weight, but you would be losing your mind at the same time. I mean, that's just one example. You think, and I'm sure you can place yourself in various aspects of life and figure out how support system is necessary and how it works. And so all of these things are key. And that is what really builds on stress. I failed my exam. I mean, like, that's a bad thing anyways. Why make it worse by giving two tight ones under the butt and like then making things worse for the guy, right? No, like there has to be something else. It has to be done in a different way. I mean, like it can stress is at every point in life or for every person in the world, there is some, it's a disease. It's a disease and it's a highly communicable disease. You just pass it on in a moment. You will not know. I was so happy right now. Somebody comes and says in my ear, like, this has happened. Damn, I'm gone. So that's how it works. And that's how you need to be clear about whenever you are communicating a message also. So anyways, we'll move on from here. So what do you do for a healthy heart, for a stress-free life? There are certain things. It's not the end of the world. You can come out of it. You can do things by simply knowing what to do. And the most important things are, or in fact, just the only things, let's say, are these, the ones that you see on your screen, simple exercises, cardio workout, muscle workout. That does not mean bodybuilding and stuff. Sleeping enough, adequate amount of sleep, but not oversleeping. Breathing, one of the key things, we'll talk about it right now. Eating right, we have spoken about it. Laugh out loud, be cheerful, be happy. You have laughter clubs all around the world. Like they are there for a reason, and it's for a very good reason. You're like laughing out loud, really like forget the hormones and what goes inside the body, but it's a very good exercise for your lungs. And pray that things like a situation like COVID-19 does not arise out of the blue and turn for the anyways. So these are things that you need to know. So the most important organ when it comes to your physical being is your heart. And obviously, like it really is connected to all of the other things and in different ways. But if you can make sure that your heart health is good, half the job is done. The rest is like, eat right, do your activities, and like things will be sorted for you anyways. Right, let's quickly move on from here on. I'm sorry. Mental fitness. I mean, so far, all the things that we have talked about, so you see these bubbles, right? The darker ones are darker bubbles that you don't want to get into, and the lighter ones are the good ones that you need in your life, right? So, I mean, I'm not going to get into each of these. Things will happen, like things are there, they exist. Mental fitness is a lot about some few important things combined, right? If you say, for example, stress management, anger management, dementia, depression, so all these things, you manage all of it in the right manner, your the level of mental fitness, the peace that you would find in life is anyways going to increase. What happens is so many times one thing goes wrong with panic is what really? Panic is the question that we ask ourselves, what's gonna happen next? Eh, अब ऐसा हो गया कल क्या होगा? I mean that's the question that we ask, right? Uh, I got these many marks. What will happen now? What is my teacher going to say? What are my parents going to say? Are my friends going to laugh at me? I got out in the first ball. I got a duck out. What are my teammates going to say to me? You know, one way to take some stress, some anxiety, some, when you go to sleep that night, damn, I could have batted this way and I would not have gotten out. Or I was so sure I would be able to hold that, catch that ball and I will not miss it. But I didn't see that bird coming. I'll start blaming somebody else for it. I'll start talking about everything else. So, I mean, like, it doesn't give you a sound sleep. As a result, you're losing on sleep, you're stressing yourself, you'll go into a state of anger also at times, depending on the condition. This put together will take you to a state where you will start to have mental diseases. It happens. I mean, this is how nature works. So don't have to really go there. So what do you do really? So mental fitness, uh, meditation is a strong weapon against all these issues in the mind. Just meditate. If you can focus, just close your, which we'll talk about it very shortly, and just get out of the world for some time. It helps. These are not just theories. These are actually rationally, sanely provided ideas and action plans, which you need to execute at time and again in order to be, in that state of mind where you are not troubled. So, having said this, we would on to some examples of, we have taken up junk food. You can consider these and look at the numbers, see what happens. One slice of pizza, you are eating that, you get some calories. In order to burn that one slice, you need to jog for at least, lift some weights or do some exercises for 30 minutes at least, which are heavy workouts. So, I mean, that's the power of one slice of pizza. A chocolate brownie. I mean, these are things, not just us. These are things that take us into a category of bad habits. We end up making excuses for consuming these items. I mean, there's nothing wrong if you consume and you know that you are going to burn it out. That's a very different thing. I mean, it's food after all, as long as it's not bad for. But look at the thing, like, how much of this is going to impact you? Are you going to really do something about it if you're consuming this? That's where the problem starts, right? Pasta. See the problem. This, whenever I'm saying 1 cup is the standard kitchen measurement of 236 ml. That's the size. That's bad. And the numbers at the bottom are even worse because, like, we do not want to put that effort in order to make things work. So this is the key thing that we have started to learn after Corona has hit us all. So, I mean, before that, we would probably use them if we are going for a session in yoga or sometimes when we are meditating, which most of us do not do. Even I did not do, I'm sorry. But it is important, like breathing has certain so I 6 C's that you see here are very important here. What is it? Like, condition. What is the condition? What's the condition of the environment where you are breathing? Remember, we talked about running through a cloud of pollution or smoke coming out from a chimney, dust. There can be pollen in the air, which can give you allergies. There can be anything in the air, right? Which the air that you breathe. So what's the condition under which you are breathing? Another thing is, what is the condition? Are you at the end of your sprint? Are you at the end of talking? Are you at the end of or in the middle of doing some activity which takes in more oxygen, which consumes more oxygen? Like, what is this thing? So the condition determines how you breathe, how shallow or how deep you need to breathe, how slow or how fast you need to breathe, and all these things. Control. That's the only thing that we can do to ourselves in terms of breathing. There are so many techniques of breathing. People breathe out through the right and vice versa, and that's there. I mean, all of them are good. All of them are healthy practices as long as you are practicing. Breathing is fine. So controlling your breath, when you are, so when we do our, people who work out with me would know, I say very often, right? Breathe through your nose. Don't breathe through your mouth when you are like almost at the gasping for breath. Try and breathe through your nose as much as possible, except in between. That helps you control your body's ability to relax much quicker. Because otherwise, what happens? You keep doing this every now and then because you are there is no air inside you at the end of a hard workout. So what do? So these are things that we need to know. Channelize. So this is something I would like to show you. Okay. I hope I'm completely visible. I'll just stop the screen share for a time being. So with a lot of ways of breathing, but channelizing is, there are two basics in breathing, right? Some people say when you breathe, I'm just showing my side view. You can always ask me to show it again, right? So what do we do? When you breathe, you increase the size of your chest as if all the air is getting accumulated in your chest. And you breathe out, the chest goes in and the stomach comes out. The other can be when you're breathing with the stomach. When you breathe in, you increase the size of your stomach, and when you breathe out, the stomach goes in. This is all okay. There is nothing wrong with either of the practices. The problem is we do not follow our breath. If you can figure out, to imagine that your air is flowing in through your nose, it goes in through your trachea, through your windpipe, gets into the lungs, and then what? So how do you feel the air, the oxygen, or the energy coming inside the body and leaving your body? So there is a very nice way that was illustrated by some research. I found it at least very interesting. So when you breathe in, think that you can see the breath coming in all through the body, right? So this straight inside the nose, it goes in through through the nostrils, into the windpipe, into the lungs here. So till now, the breath has been here on this side of the body, in the front side of the body. Just imagine, right? It doesn't happen this way. From here, imagine that you're still breathing in. The breath goes across your body to the back, and then goes down to your back, to the lower back. And as you breathe out, it starts to come back from here. All the air comes here, crosses the body to the front, comes up, and goes out. This actually, just take a deep breath, close your eyes, and feel the breath coming in this direction. So you can actually feel it after a period in time. When you master this way, you will actually feel as if the air is coming till here, till your lower back. So that channelizing of breathing, it helps because that way you are concentrating on the muscles around the various parts through all the root of the breath. Lower back, your nose, all the muscles that are involved in passing the air from one part to the other part are getting used. And these are all the muscles that are necessary to make your the lungs and all the overall breathing function work properly. Okay, that is about channelizing your breathing. Let's get back to this. The next thing is about compose. Compose is the composition of the feel that we talk about, right? Sometimes we do not even care like if we are breathing good or bad. Suddenly we realize like we are not doing anything else, and you just say sit down to rest, and you suddenly realize like you're not breathing well. You are in the need of, you know, in that kind of a thing situation. It happens to everyone. It can be because of stress, it can be because of workout, it can be because of any other aspect. It can be because of pollution or anything. But you need to compose yourself. You need to tell yourself things. You have to remind yourself about breathing right. So many times you would not even understand it if when you are busy with something else. Let's say, for example, right now I'm talking to you. I've been talking continuously, and I am not even sure if I need extra breath or not. I'm not even sure, like, and the moment now, if I think about it, I think my lungs are only partially filled. Let me take a deep breath. So this is a small situation of panic where we say like we do not have enough air and we need some extra, and we do this. And then eventually we feel good, and then we are back to normal. And then like if we continue thinking about it, you'll just remind us, oh, it happened to me just a few seconds back. Am I sure that it's all right now? And then you suddenly feel you are lacking breath again. You know, this happens. These are like, this is how you compose yourself. You need to be composed. You need to be very clear in your mind. Cool down, calm down. There is no rush. Nothing's gone wrong unless you see a symptom. Breathlessness is something different. You will feel the lack of air in the environment when you are breathless. It's not just the lack of air inside your lungs. You will not be able to breathe anything, as if you are like breathing in vacuum, like I don't know. Anyways, the next point is connect. The connect is the connect of the various organs inside the body which consume oxygen. You know, I mean, like all body tissues require oxygen, but then like we're just at this point in time, we're talking about three important organs: the lungs, the heart, and the brain. Okay, the first three places, like or the three key places where air makes so much of difference compared to the rest of the organs. You know, the heart, obviously, it's the chamber, it's the engine, it's the motor running. The lungs is the window, and the brain is like the superpower, the CPU, anyways. So, I mean, the connect between these three are important, and that's a pure matter of health. This is not something in your hands directly. It's an indirect thing, wherein like you keep your health good, you eat right, you do your activities fine, and this connect will be there always. I mean, there'll be no problems really. And compromise. Compromise is again a mental condition. Compromise is a condition where you tell yourself to do things. You know, compared to composing, where you again there also you just, people say he or she has reached a Zen level. He's not worried, like the what do you call it, moksha level, right? Where you do not need anything. Think of being in that state of mind, and you will not be worried about things. There is no stress because there is no need, there is no want, so there is no stress. Compromise is when you tell yourself, oh, this is not happening, this is not happening, this is not happening. This is a key ingredient of stress or anxiety or depression eventually. No, compromising is telling yourself, you are all right, figure out ways. No, I think my hand is shaking. And suddenly like somebody says, somebody got a terrible heart attack, and like this was a symptom, and like you will start thinking or trying to figure out, do you have the same symptom? It happens. It's a very human tendency. It's very natural. But what is happening really? You are compromising your state of mind. And as a result, what happens is it varies the way you take your breath in and breathe out. So these are the few things about breathing that I wanted to tell you. There are two things I would say. I need this click here. All right. There is something known as a 4-7-8 technique. We have done this in our workouts at times. So do a count of 4. If you want to try it now, I can count it on your behalf. So when I count, say 1, 2, 3, 4 at the certain pace, you breathe in through your nose. Then I'll start counting till after 4. Right after 4, I'll start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Till that count, you hold your breath. And then start releasing your breath with your mouth, making a small pout. Don't, I would say, contract your jaw and any muscle. Just change the structure of your lip and like this. Breathe. I cannot see most people on the screen, so I would say I'll just stop sharing. And if you want to try, I can do this counting for you. I hope you're doing it. I'll just do the counting nonetheless. So when I count up to 1, 2, 3, 4, breathe in. From 1 to 7 after that, hold your breath. And from 1 to 8 after that, breathe out through your mouth. Okay, let's try it. Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I don't know if you did this, but if you have done this, you would know the difference. And when you do this for a few number of times, it helps you in a few, some good ways. One is it helps you get relief from stress. In case you are feeling a little congested, in case you're feeling that you're not able to breathe in entirely, your lungs are not getting filled up entirely, it happens immediately after you do it, say 2-3 times, it'll start happening it. You can also include some movements along with this. Let's say, for example, when you do this, raise your hands up all the way over your head when you're doing this, and while releasing your breath, just bring your hands down slowly at the same time. Synchronize the hand movements. You can move your hands anyways. So moving your hands really has an impact on this upper body muscles here. All right. And these upper body muscles, the muscles that you would, and similarly the back we have still here. So the muscles around the rib cage still here are all the muscles that help the lungs move, contract and expand. They help the heart to contract and expand. They help channelize the breathing, the air, the ducts that we have between, the trachea, the food pipe. All of these they function properly. The diaphragm functions properly because of these muscular movements. Sometimes if you have realized you have a pain in the shoulder blade right here, and you would realize you cannot take a deep breath. It hurts. If you laugh out loud, if you sneeze, if you cough, it hurts at the back. It is because your lung is like pushing onto the muscle, and that muscle is like, shouting out loud that don't do this. So, that is how important these things are. Making sure that these muscles are all working fine, your mid back, upper back, chest, on the sides, your arms, shoulder, this entire upper part of the body. It makes a whole lot of difference to how you breathe, how you are how you can react to different conditions of the heart or for breathing the air and all of this. Okay, so that is about breathing, guys. Let's move on from here very quickly. Next are postures. I don't want to show you about the sleeping posture, but I'll demonstrate the other few. The sleeping posture, if you see, these are important because they also cause a number of issues in our body. They cause so many spasms in muscles. They cause so many issues in terms of breathing, in terms of viewing at times, in terms of making some movement, adjusting your body. All of these happen because of wrong postures. And one of the biggest troubles after the pandemic has been posture issues. So look at the three pictures for sleeping, right? We all are used to sleeping on a mattress with a pillow. So these examples are adjusted to that. Look at the movement, how big the pillow should be, how small, or how do you really lie down. If you're sleeping on your back and your mattress gets into a boat shape, first of all, whatever position that is wrong. On your back or on your tummy. In either case, your spinal cord is going to bend beyond the normal way, far beyond the normal way. So that is a strict no-no. So that also, like, that role is played when you have a pillow which is too tall or a pillow that is too short, too small. So you have the similar problems. If you look at standing, we do not even realize when you have started to crouch. I just drop my chin a little bit like this. I'll not even realize I'm talking to people. Another important point, like you can already see the postures for standing. Another important thing is also about balancing our hip, all right? So many times, I'll just lower the screen here. Okay, I'll show the rest of the things also demonstrate only. So many times we have problems on only one side of the body, especially on the back side, right? So I have problem only on the right lower back or right glute, the butt, or the right knee. Only everything happens on the right side. Why? It is because of some very, very small things in life that we do, and we do not know that they are not right. One is, let's say I stand like this. See my position? So I have this habit of standing like this, or I'll always be leaning on the chair in this way, like this. That's wrong. You are putting the entire body weight on one side. All the muscles that are used to taking half the body weight is taking full body weight. And when you are in a habit of doing this, overall, those muscles will get overused and eventually give up. Similarly would be like for men. So many times we keep our wallet on the back pocket here. When you sit, you can always feel that compression. It compresses your muscles, it compresses your blood vessels, it compresses your nerves eventually. So all of it, at the end, sometime you will start feeling numb on the side of the leg. So I mean, these are small things that we need to remember. Similarly, while sitting down, right? Let me show this. So what's the right way of sitting down? Okay, if I'm sitting down like this, see, the chair has been made at this angle, at this right angle, for a reason. Push yourself back all the way and use the backrest. This is the best position you can be in. Now, there is a problem here. The problem is the seat. If this chair, the seat is, the cushion is only maybe a couple of inches in thickness. When we are talking about a sofa or a mattress, where the thickness is like 10 times of that, sitting down. So instead of sitting like this, you will be sitting like this, and which is a very comfortable position. Trust me, it's a very comfortable, like even I love to do that. But that is called lounging. All right. So this curvature that you see here, my back is like this in this part, right? Here. So what happens is my tailbone has gone underneath and the entire body weight is on the tailbone now. When I sit like this, the body weight is on my muscles, on the glutes, on my butt. Right? And then the legs take some part of it, and like I'm much better off. But look, it cannot hold all your body weight. Eventually, you start getting lower back issues. On top of it, you have the habit of sitting like this. I always sit with my left leg across my right leg, or whatever way. So what happens as a result? One, I am sitting like this, and two, my posture is wrong. So all the entire body weight is on the other side of my body. Plus this side is free. So I have double trouble on the other side. One, because of the curvature of my spinal cord in the end, and two, because of my body weight, all the body weight is on the other side. A simple problem, sitting anywhere, whether you are driving, whether you are working, whether you are like doing anything, watching TV, that's the importance of sitting. You can always lounge for a while. That's nothing wrong with that. But if you are doing it over a long period of time, it will cause problems. Lifting. How do you lift? Look at my back. Okay. I am going down. Look at my legs are straight. I'm going down and I need to lift this. I lift this up like this. Okay. This chair is what? Hardly about 5 kgs. Let's make it 10 kgs. But this is not, just imagine if this is 50 kgs. Can I lift it this way without getting any kind of injury? No. I'll be injured beyond my knowledge because the muscle that I'm using when I'm doing this, I'm using the muscle on my. It's very small. It's a tiny kind of thing. I mean, this kind of a thread that goes from the, I mean, if this is the back side, from here to the side on your butt inside like this. These lumbar muscles are very small. They are strong, but they're small. They're not meant for extremely heavy weights. The right way to pick up the chair is like this. Let me just, okay. Bend the knees. The muscles on my legs are some of the biggest muscles I have in the body, right? This is the biggest, followed by this, then this, like this, all right? Use the leg muscles. Don't bend down like this. Instead, bend your knees. See, look at my back. My back is straight and I lift it up. Now I don't even feel anything on my back. When I come, I have to keep it down this way. This is how you're supposed to do it. Even if it's a bag, it's a grocery bag, it's a cylinder that you need to change, it's something else which is very heavy. You need to pick up a kid from the floor, you need to pick up something from the floor, your suitcase, your travel items, anything. Whatever is the thing. If you can do it this way instead of this way, you are much better off. All right. So, I mean, these are some of the basic posture problems. We talked about standing, you saw, and picking up something and sitting. These are the 4 key things that we do on a regular basis, day in, day out. Whether we are working or not, we always do this, and we get into trouble so many times because of just postures. And what happens is, you will not get the trouble immediately. Okay, let's say it's a trouble in your back or the leg. Because the muscles are big, the trouble will be waiting for you. You are doing it day in, day out, and suddenly one day you will feel like something has gone wrong and you won't be able to figure out why. You'll think about whatever you have done today, which as a result of which you got this, and probably more often than not, you will not get the right answer. And because the answer is in your posture, it's your daily habit, and you don't even realize that it's wrong. So that's the thing. Anyways, from here, these are sitting and lifting. So this is a copied statement. Sometimes workout is all the therapy that you need. I mean, that we are just at the end of things today. So the last thing, I'm not going back to the slide again. So we also talked about a few things that you can do on a daily basis at home or even at work if you are working at an office away from home. I mean, there are a few things. Keep your shoulder active. You're not like you always work at the table like this, on your computers like this. What are the easy things that you can do? You can freeze your shoulder, your arm. It can give you a carpal tunnel syndrome on your palm. All of these things happen. You know, just lift the shoulders up and down. You know, there's nothing else you need to worry about. Just lift the shoulders up and down. You can rotate your shoulders forward to backward or backward to forward, any direction. That helps. That's good enough. For your arms, for your hands and the forearms, just do this. Do it a few times, turn your hand around, do it with wide arms, do it with arms over your head. And anyways, in different direction, it will make your blood flow good again. But remember to keep doing this at regular intervals, like maybe every 30 minutes of if you're sitting straight for a few hours together, maybe every 20 minutes or 30 minutes, you can do this. It doesn't take you anything. You can just imagine this is my leg. You can do this with your foot. Just get your foot up and down. It keeps the circulation happening around the foot. When you're sitting for a very long time, when you take a long distance flight, for example, right, your legs get numb, or you start feeling that those pins and needles in your legs when you stand up again. That happens, right? Or so what you need to do is you need to stand up. In order to save yourself from that problem, you need to stand up at times and just walk around. A good thing, a good practice is one that you need to consume water, right? Just keep a small glass by your side, and every time you need to refill, you will have to go to the watering place and get the glass refilled. So that's a good way of making sure that you are staying active while you have to sit down for a long time. Rather than calling out for food, go yourself and take it, get it, because that helps you walk. Forget like the help and anything else, but that helps you walk. If you're talking on the phone, walk around rather than sitting or lying down. Just walk around. It makes a difference. I mean, these are small things that can create so much of difference in terms of in being active. You know, another thing that we fail to do is, say, for example, I hurt my leg. I cannot. I'm regular at exercising. I go for runs. I go for cannot do it. My knee is hurt or my ankle is twisted. So what do? It's a very simple thing. I'll just let me show you that, and then we close our session today. Just sit on a chair, straight chair again, or a bench. If you cannot do this, just sit on the floor, okay? Just raise your leg up and down like this. You should put your hand around your leg. You will see the muscles working. Put your hand around the glute. You will see the muscles working. On the side, the muscles work. On your abs, the muscles work. In just for doing this, you know, this itself is a very stand up by the side of the chair and do the leg raise like this. Just do this up and down. That's good enough. Put your hand around, put your hand around. You will see all your muscles working. This is not going to be as great as climbing stairs or going for a 10-kilometer run, but that is at least better than doing absolutely nothing. You know, so these are some simple techniques. You just need to make sure that you're moving, that you're making some movements, ensuring that the problems occur when there is not enough blood circulation to a part of your body. And that's about it. That's all I had for today, everyone. So I mean, there are so many questions. So firstly, exercising does not really have a time. It needs to be in a routine. You figure out your right time to work out, and it's once a day in 2 parts, or you do a long duration one time, either way, or you can do multiple times during the day. Whatever is possible, you should do, but make it a routine. Like irrespective of where you are, what you are eating, you know, how you are being, you should figure out ways to do things. Like there are times when people do exercises even when they're a little unwell. About eating, you know, firstly, I mean, these are habits that grow into people. Like we bring these habits onto the kids. They do not know originally, they have no idea that a pizza would be tasting so good. They would have no idea a burger would be tasting so good. We introduce them. Actually. So now we need to figure out ways to also educate them about things. See, it's not, there's nothing wrong in eating all these food items, right? But then we need to know our limits. We need to know where to stop, where to draw the line. And we need to educate the kids also so that they understand, rather than like us snatching it away. Okay, you are not eating enough anymore. You make them understand, tell them once, twice, thrice, every day if it is required, because eventually they also. So if you are consuming just because they want to eat, want you to eat a bite doesn't really make too much of a difference if you are an active person, if you do not already have any other trouble. So this should not be a problem at all. All right, thank you so much for joining in, for bearing me for these 3 days. You have our contact. We're still in that group. Please feel free to come get back to us. Please let us know if there are more queries which you forgot to ask maybe during this time, or something comes to mind later on. We're always there to help you as much as we can. And yeah, you are all welcome to join us in any ways you want to. If you want to understand more things, you can always get into a call. We can always get into another video connect. You can join our workouts, try them out. You can join us, take our help for a lot of other things. So thank you so much again. So we hope to meet again, or if there are more similar things that we plan to conduct, we'll definitely keep you in the know-how. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.